Meanwhile, the House is expected to vote on a bill today that could essentially ban TikTok in the United States unless it divests from its Chinese-owned parent company, ByteDance. TikTok CEO on Capitol Hill yesterday trying to lobby against this bill. Joining me right now is Project Liberty founder and executive chairman and the author of Our Biggest Fight, Frank McCourt Jr. is with us. Frank, great to see you.
Yeah, good to see you again.
Thanks so much for being here. You've written so much about the internet. I'm going to get to the book in a moment, but your thoughts on what's happening right now with regard to TikTok?
Well, it's I cover this in the book because the reason I wrote Our Biggest Fight was to shed light on Project Liberty, and this is a $500 million initiative to basically reimagine how the internet works. Right now, use cases, apps, platforms like TikTok scrape and aggregate our data and then do stuff with it, right? And in this case, it's the Communist Party, right? The Chinese Communist Party. So it's kind of creepy, right? But we have to realize that our own platforms here are doing the same thing, scraping our data. So I think it's important. The TikTok issue is important, and it sheds light on the issues. But what we need to not get blinded by it and really focus on the bigger issue of how the internet works. And we need to reclaim control of our data, because it's our personhood in the digital age, away from kind of the machinery of big tech. And if the big tech CEOs aren't going to do it and our elected officials aren't going to do it, let's innovate our way forward. I'm a fifth-generation builder. We can fix the engineering problem, which is where we can actually put you in charge of your digital life on the internet. And that way, now we've returned liberty and agency to people, and I think that's going to be very helpful.
Well, this is a huge concept, and I want to hear how you propose to do that. But is it too late? I mean, they're all scraping our data. What are they doing with it? Okay, the CCP is one thing. I understand this is a foreign adversary that's misusing our data. But what about Meta and Google and these other companies that are also scraping our data? What are they doing with it? They're making money on it.
Of course, and look, I, like you and millions of others, we know there's something broken, right? We see it and we feel it. Something's amiss. And what I state in the book, and the case I make in Our Biggest Fight, is that the problems we're having, whether it's foreign actors in our democracy, an information ecosystem that's contaminated, harms to children, right? It's all connected to how the internet is working and how these platforms scrape our data and then aggregate it and apply algorithms to it. And it's doing bad things. And why would we want to have an internet that does some good things and a lot of bad things? Why not get rid of the bad things and especially fix that, solve that before we make it yet more powerful with generative AI.
That's exactly right. I was just going to say, it's only getting more confusing and more powerful. A U.S. government report is urging the U.S. to move quickly and decisively to prevent national security risks stemming from artificial intelligence. This report warned that it could lead to human extinction through loss of control and weaponization. The report was obtained by Time magazine. It states, quote, the rise of advanced AI and artificial general intelligence has the potential to destabilize global security in ways reminiscent of the introduction of nuclear weapons. Frank, you agree with that?
Well, I do, because it's not that, look, Project Liberty is pro-technology, right? And I think artificial intelligence, if designed properly and implemented properly, with us in control of our data, could be an awesome thing. I think really the future is I'm very optimistic about the future on one condition. We fix how this omnipresent, ubiquitous, powerful technology is working. We need to be in control. We need to regain control of not just our data, Maria. It's, people think data, like what's data? It's just out there, and they don't relate to it as a concrete thing. Think of your data as who you are in the digital age. These platforms know everything about you.
Absolutely.
Right? And then they then turn. It's not just like selling you a new pair of shoes. It's actually knowing about how you think, how you behave, your makeup, how you're going to react to things, right? So why would we want to feel manipulated? That's the opposite of democracy and liberty and freedom and agency and autocracy. So it's time that we have the tech we use optimized for the values and principles that we want in our society, right? And for individual freedom and individual liberty and choice.
But can this be fixed? Isn't it too late?
No, it's not. And this refrain about is it too late always happens with progress in technology. Something's happening, and then we see that it's not it's not designed correctly, or it's doing harms, and we just need to get organized and fix it. So what I would like to leave you with about Project Liberty, and I urge your listeners to take a couple of hours and read the book, or go to ourbiggestfight.com and learn more. We need to fix the tech, and we need to engage other people, social scientists, moms who are concerned about their kids.
Yeah.
You know, just normal people we need to start talking about this at the kitchen table,
yeah,
on the sidelines of the soccer fields, you know, at our school committee meetings. This is a big crisis right now, and you and others do a fabulous job of reporting on the problems. We need to shift our focus to how to solve the problem.
Well, what was your reaction to what we just saw from Google and Gemini? Because Google is now restricting its AI chatbot, Gemini, from answering any election-related questions in countries where elections are being held this year, including the United States. Google writes this: "We take our responsibility for providing high-quality information for these types of queries seriously and are continuously working to improve our protections." Frank, in your new book, Our Biggest Fight, you highlight these dangers, and you're talking about the internet. Google right now is coming off of a period where the information that was inputted in Gemini created terrible outcomes, right? George Washington, a black man. Why? Because they put all of this diversity input in the algorithm.
We have, what are these large language models that are being trained to create these outcomes, right? These chatbots and so on and so forth. It's the data that's scraped from the internet. It's our data. And it's all the data that's input. Right now, we have data and information on the internet that's utterly false, right? That's been created by machines,
right,
and foreign actors and so on and so forth.
There's so much of it. How are you going to fix it?
Garbage in, garbage out. Remember that old expression? That's where we're at. Wouldn't you prefer to make your decision about what portions of your data are being used in these large language models, and understand a bit how they work, be more transparent instead of this black box approach?
But Frank, you can't even change Wikipedia if you want it. I mean, you go to Wikipedia and there's a ton of false stuff out there because somebody else is writing information about you.
Yeah, but Maria, I'm not saying there won't be bad actors, or that people won't do, try to do false. I'm saying right now we have an internet so poorly designed for how it's being used that the bad actors, it's easy for them.
And they're exploiting it, sure.
That's right. And so let's just take a pause, step back, and say, you know what, maybe the problem is that we're actually a device on the internet, not a person, right? We have an IP address. Let's be a person on the internet, and let's have to be a verifiable human being to have the privilege of using the internet, and then have control about imagine an internet with apps that are built that click on our terms of use for our data. Imagine an internet where there's some transparency. Imagine an internet where we're in control, and imagine an internet where the value created, which is enormous. We now know our data is massively valuable, right? Is actually shared by those that create the data. So it's just the next level of evolution here. So we're not saying throw the internet away. The internet is awesome, but let's use it in the way that it was intended. You know, yesterday was the 35th anniversary of the World Wide Web. Tim Berners-Lee created that, and he said, it's not being used the way I intended.
Yeah.
I intended it to be decentralized. I intended it to empower you and me, individuals. I intended it to share accurate information. I intended it to be the proverbial tide that lifts all the boats. And that's not what it is right now. It's what we do is we sit and recycle around all these problems. Let's fix it.
Really an interesting conversation, Frank. We're going to keep watching this, and you're making really the right points in terms of fixing it. I don't know if it can be fixed at this point, but
no, it can. And as an engineer and a builder, I can tell you it can be fixed. We just have to have the will.
Fantastic, Frank. Great to talk with you.
Yeah, likewise.
It was such a great conversation.